Good evening, Uganda. Welcome to Face the Nation this particular Friday. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. In this particular episode of the Face the Nation, I have Counsel Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. This gentleman is a lawyer, an advocate of the High Court. You cannot talk about human rights law and constitutional law in this country without mentioning the name Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. We want to paint a picture of what is happening in the country today as the Supreme Court made a verdict on charging civilians in the General Court Martial. And of course, one of those civilians is retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza Rwakafuuzi. What does this mean to the land? And of course, this particular week, Dr. Kiiza Rwakafuuzi has been returned to the High Court to listen to the habeas corpus case that was filed by his lawyers earlier on. The case was adjourned earlier, and Dr. Kiiza Rwakafuuzi was returned back to Luzira prison. The question is, why is it taking long for government to implement the resolutions that were made by the Supreme Court of the land? And of course, what does Counsel Ladislausi also think about Counsel Semakade's new ascension to the leadership of the LDC or the lawyers in the country? What does that mean? After, as we speak right now, in fact, this gentleman, Counsel Semakade, has been found in contempt of court by Justice Sekana and sentenced to 2 years in prison. What does this mean to the judiciary of Uganda? Today on Face the Nation, I have Counsel Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. You're most welcome, sir, and
Thank
it's a
you.
privilege to have you here.
Thank you.
How are you doing, sir?
I'll be okay. I still live in a lot of pain. My whole left side is paralyzed. The leg, the arm, so I cannot lift this arm. Like that, but I'll be okay.
Okay. Do you want to paint a picture how it started and the process, how it has been really?
Well, it was 11th August 2019. It was the Eid of the Muslims. And I was here alone in my room, sleeping. It could have been around 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock. So I wanted to wake up and go to the loos. So when I woke up,
Yes, sir.
instead of walking, I fell down. I don't know why I fell down,
Yes,
but it's because this leg had already gotten affected, including this arm. I didn't know.
Yes, sir.
So I struggled to go back to bed. I failed. When I made up my mind that now I have failed, I called my people in the house. They came, put me in the car, and they called my elder brother, Dr. Karuhanga. I think you know Dr. Karuhanga Vincent.
Yes.
Our friend is polyclinic. He advised them to take me to Nsambi Hospital. So I went to Nsambi Hospital. There they admitted me in the ICU. Actually, the first thing I had when I was there, they talked of a blood clot. So I had a blood clot.
Okay.
So I went, they took me to the ICU.
Yes, sir.
I was there for I think a week or two. Then I was taken to the general ward where I was for 3 weeks. Then discharged, and I came back home here. Still, I was very, very weak. My wife arranged that they take me to Aga Khan Hospital. Aga Khan, actually, that decision was very important because Aga Khan, this one they realized that my heart had a problem. So they treated my heart for around 3 weeks. I was in another ICU in Aga Khan Hospital. They treated me for around 3 weeks, then discharged me. I kept in Nairobi for a month. Where I was, as an outpatient, I would come, I would go to the hospital for physiotherapy. Then after a month, I came back here.
Okay. That's really something that we wanted to really find out, and I hope that everything will be better, sir. Let's start off with what you think of Uganda today. If you are to, because you've been in this country for a long time, you've litigated, you've grown here.
I've been here. I saw Amin fall. I was a little bit conscious in 1966 during the Lubiri crisis when Mutesa was attacked.
Yeah.
I was staying at Kiswa there,
Yes, sir.
and the uncle I was staying with was working in the Saffron Poster and Telecommunications. So the enraged people, the enraged locals were cutting the wires, those telephone wires. So he was, and they were barricading the roads. So he would come in, then sleep, then they call him. They would come for him to go and repair the broken wires because the government needed to be able to communicate.
Oh, that's almost 50 years ago, but you have a vivid memory.
Yes,
of
yes.
it. Now,
So
paint a picture for us what you think Uganda is. With the history you've seen and where we are today, how is Uganda to you?
Uganda today is supposed to be a very good country. You see, for example, the press was doing very well till sometime. But of course, you see, I was in 1986 when NRA came. I was at Makerere in second year at law school. When they came, many of my friends were rushing to go to attend at the parliament to attend the first rally. I had one friend of mine, Samusoga, I've forgotten his name. He was from North Coast. He said, "Look here, you see those people who are rejoicing, they should be very careful because the militaries do not believe in people power. They believe in their own capacity to fight."
Someone was warning you
So
by 86.
86, I was in North Coast Hall. This boy told me that if I went back to North Coast Hall, I can get his name. If I get the list of the students who are there, he told me that with the militaries, you rejoice only for a short period. You have to be careful. Things will turn against. Because you see, when people exert their power, then they will bring out they will bring out their guns. So my problem is this: 1988, when the Constitutional Commission was set up, one of my professors, Professor Kid Makuya, was teaching us jurisprudence. So he came. No, he was a very jolly man, and unfortunately he died a few months ago. Okay, but then he was a very jolly man. So he said, "Look here, you people, we are going to he was part of the commissioners on the. So he said, now we are going to produce a very durable constitution. This 1962 constitution lasted only up to 1966.
Yes.
So we are going to produce a people's constitution because the 1966 constitution was not durable because he gave us the names of people who participated in the Lancaster conference. Imagine they had to take them away from Uganda. So, but this time it is going to be our own constitution and it is going to be lasting. That was
Made
him.
by us.
Made by us.
Yes.
He gave us a list of people who attended. Very few are still alive. So, they made the constitution. Then, you can see what happened. That the people power, which is guaranteed in Article 2 and 3 of the Constitution. The power, the people shall all the power comes from the
In fact,
people.
it's the first article, Article 1. Power belongs to the people.
Power belongs to the people,
Yes, sir.
and they shall exercise it through
Regular, free and fair elections.
through regular, free, and fair elections.
Yes, sir.
Now, the elections themselves are still regular, but they are regular because there's one man who knows that he will win at all costs.
Wow.
It's that regularity also will go away. But anyway, the thing is this: what kind of elections? Like the 2021 elections. Me, I was bedridden. I could not walk. But with these phones, I could see everything. I could see blood on Kampala Road.
More than 50 people
People died.
were murdered.
And up to now, we are going into another election, and there has been no talk about what happened and how to avoid it. So, really,
On that issue, the UPDF came out and said that we apologized for what happened. Is it a problem that Ugandans don't forgive? Ugandans, you don't want to forgive your government for the mistakes they have made?
No, I don't think the apology was from the heart, because it's like this.
Yes, sir.
They detained people, they detained some people because of wearing these red uniforms and so forth.
Yes, sir.
They detained them and took them to court martial. And those people are still there, many of them. If the apology was serious, they would have released them already.
Okay.
It was not a sincere apology. So they killed these people deliberately, and it is going to happen again. I don't see why people are really preparing for these elections.
Oh, so you mean
It's a death trap. Anyway, there's people get engaged in them, but they are useless. And Museveni knows that they are just crowning him.
But how ready is the opposition really to compete with Mr. Museveni at this time, when you have Dr. Kiiza Rwakafuuzi incarcerated, when you have political parties being divided? Some people, for example, FDC has a faction that has money, that received some money from some people. The UPC is divided. NUP is divided. All political parties that are vying for presidency or to challenge Mr. Museveni look to be at their worst. Don't you think that this time around Mr. Museveni is really going to win legitimately?
You see, the problem is this. The people who removed the age limit gave Uganda a very raw deal. And Museveni did not remove it alone. He included the courts, because I was one of the lawyers in Imbali that argued the case of the age limit, the removal of the age limit. We lost it even in the Supreme Court. We lost it. So it means that, and you can't imagine, some of those judges who were on the panel had participated in the CA. In the
promulgation of the Constitution
yes,
itself.
in the making up of the Constitution. So in the Constituent Assembly, now these people participate, and here we are, a Constitution being amended by force, with the military intervening and breaking people's backs. The Constitution in Article 3 says that shall not be amended by force. The Constitution is very, very clear. The Constitution shall not be amended by force. So now, the judges said, when we argued that one, they said that it is the opposition that brought confusion, and therefore the military had to intervene. But the military had already surrounded the parliament even before the fight in the parliament. The military had already come, and these facts were very clear. They were known by everybody. The military was already there. So Museveni cannot be blamed alone. He has to be blamed with the judges that participated in the removal of the age limit. Museveni by now would have been somewhere resting and advising Ugandans on how to live peacefully.
But the people who actually amended the constitutions are our very own. They are in fact what I can call the best among us, because they are our leaders. So yeah, the best among you are the ones that go to parliament. So,
exactly.
So it is us who gave, can't we say it's our problem as Ugandans?
Well, you see, it is all of us, we cannot blame Museveni alone. Yes. Unlike who alone declared himself life president, Museveni has involved some people in his life presidency. He has been crowned by people, parliament, including the courts.
Okay, the courts that you're talking about, Mr. Museveni said they made a wrong decision. In his words, that they said a wrong decision, and his son, the CDF of this country, says that the verdict shocked him first, but he also adds on that it's unacceptable. So what do you think of when the court that you're saying has been sustaining him today has done something that he feels is really, really wrong, and he's unhappy with it?
Well, the thing is this. The courts, sometimes people have a feeling that the courts are influenced by the state. Government somehow influences them. The age limit case, for example, it was said that that there was some above. We didn't see who influenced the judge's decision. But then I know that above is just lingering around there, is not very physically seen, and he does not put a gun on your head that do this. Okay, you always see him as a person who can promote you and give you goodies and so forth, yes. But then that's very unfair. You can still take a stand like the late Justice Kakuru did. Kakuru was a lone fighter. He was abandoned by his fellow judges. And we got that verdict. Museveni is very, very tired. Sincerely speaking, this country is in a mess. Because the governance is, you see, that money which was stolen in Bank of Uganda, without we have no
billion.
We have no governor Bank of Uganda for so many years. So, then, what kind of governance is this kind of thing? The Constitution creates these positions. The Bank of Uganda is created, I think, in the Constitution. That's the Treasury is created. There, some positions have to be filled. They are not there for. Okay, Museveni has a problem. For example, I have been in court martial. I have represented many people there. He has a problem. Even a court martial is very inefficient. What happens is this. You see, he's the chairman of High Command, and he's the one who appoints, who convenes the court martial. Yes. Now the problem with this is that he can sometimes spend 2 years without appointing. You know, the appointment is only for 1 year. It's only for 1 year. Sometimes he forgets and he does not appoint people for 2 or 3 years. Then there's a lot of backlog in that court. There's a lot of backlog because for him, there are some things he doesn't do on time. He doesn't know that he has to do them because he's not a servant. He said he's not a servant of anybody, so he has to do what he wants.
In fact, when you talk about the General Court Martial, in fact, the Supreme Court verdict rendered it a disciplinary committee. They don't even refer to it as a court. It's not a competent court according to them. But why do you think the UPDF sees this as a very wrong decision?
Because it takes away their powers. You see, it's like this.
Yes, sir.
In 2001, we had general elections. The first election where Museveni was challenged by Dr. Kiiza Rwakafuuzi, and he was shocked. I think he was very, very annoyed by this challenge. He did not expect it. He thought he would rule Uganda without any challenge. He thought Uganda is God sent. Ugandans will always welcome him as God sent, and no challenge should go about him. So now, in 2001, there's then they set up groups of thugs, groups of thugs to terrorize the public. Now these thugs had guns and so forth. Now by 2002, these thugs were going out of hand. They thought they had a lot of power. They started killing people, robbing people's properties. So how do you manage them? You set up a thing like Wembley. Wembley was a no-nonsense form of arresting criminals.
But you're saying these criminals were set up by the state itself?
Exactly. You see, then, because you see, they thought they had a lot of license, they can do anything. So now, with Wembley is set up to get these people. Then they also say they will go to court martial. That's how court martial came in.
Okay.
I think maybe there was a point in court martial. It was actually when you hear Museveni talk about guns, talking about security, the security of the people, that's what he had in mind, to control Sagare. We had Wembley headed by Kayanja, Major Kayanja at the time.
He's now a general.
Okay, so now
Kayanja Mahanga.
Okay, so that was the problem. That is how That's how they set up that court. Then Museveni realized that he can send people to court martial without going through the DPP. His biggest problem is the DPP.
Why?
You see, some cases, for example, there's that case of the rape case they put on Dr. Besigye. DPP, I don't know if the DPP sanctioned that file. Maybe they did, but it's a very, very funny thing. But of course, the good thing, the judge who had the case was very elaborate.
He gave a lot of context to the
Yes,
case.
exactly.
Yes, yes.
So, Museveni does not want the DPP. He does not want anybody to say that, look here, where is the evidence you are choosing about? Because it's through the DPP, let me tell you. Now, for example, they are not very sure that the DPP will sanction Besigye's case. Because you see, the DPP also has her own dignity. She does not want to go into things which are bogus. So,
she want to look at the evidence itself.
At the evidence, yes. Because you see, it's like this. There's Article 119 and 120, those articles about the DPP. They are very, very important. You see, the DPP is supposed to act in the interest of the people and not to abuse the court process.
Exactly.
Now, you see, it's like this. Under Article 23 of the Constitution, a person cannot lose his liberty. A person is free to move anywhere he wants, except if he is suspected of having committed an offense. Now, that suspicion must be not a suspicion in public, but suspicion. It must be backed by evidence. Reasonable. It must be on a reasonable basis.
Yes, sir.
This person may have committed an offense, and that person should be the DPP, not anybody person. The DPP should be convinced through the raw evidence presented to the accused.
Okay.
To her office. Then she looks at the evidence and says, I think this evidence qualifies, gives me reasonable. There's a reasonable basis upon which this person should be tried.
Okay. You're still watching Face the Nation. I am
But then you see, without the DPP, Museveni can contain his political opponents by taking him to court martial.
Then my question is, does Museveni believe in the rule of law?
He doesn't believe in it. You see, Museveni does not believe in those things of rights and so forth. You see, it's like this. When he was addressing, I think, some judges and others who were opening the East African Court of Justice, sitting in Uganda around 2-3 years ago, he talked about those rights, the origin of those rights, and he really trashed them. According to him, we are not there yet. So he thinks those rights are not for us, because our economic system is such that, our economic status is such that we don't deserve those rights. Actually, a person should look for I don't know. I saw a clip of it, very small, on WhatsApp, but I'm sure it is still available. A person should look for it. Museveni does not believe in those rights. Therefore, we are wasting our time to say that we should we are fighting for rights and so forth. The person who is our leader does not believe in them.
Council, let me first read for you what he posted about the incarceration of Dr. Kiiza Besigye recently. This was something he posted this particular week. He said, fellow Ugandans, especially the Bazukulu, I have seen the concern by some Ugandans regarding the remanding of Dr. Besigye for the very serious offenses he is alleged to have been planning. If you want a stable country, the more correct question should be, naye Dr. Besigye bamukwatira ki? Why was Dr. Besigye arrested? The answer to that is a quick trial so that the facts come out. Otherwise, you are promoting insecurity, which is very dangerous for the country. Nobody in the world can easily give us lectures on reconciliation and forgiveness, because that is part of our doctrine right from the 1960s. What do you think about that? In fact, it continues, but let's just stop there.
Well, you see, the thing is, the reason we need, the DPP should be the person you see, Museveni cannot, there must be some objective evidence from a first case presented through, you see, it's like this. The Constitution says that we shall exercise our rights, we shall exercise our power, the people shall exercise their power through the institutions of the state. Like the DPP and so forth. So Museveni is a citizen of Uganda and he is entitled to report him to give punishment. Let him report the case through institutions like the police and the CMI, and they make up files that disclose a prima facie case. Then once the DPP is satisfied, then actually the proper question I would put to him is that why did he conveniently avoid the DPP? Is it because he just wanted to punish Besigye for opposing him?
In fact, he said Besigye is on a hunger strike, and for him, his comment on that is that that's unprincipled blackmail by Dr. Kiiza Besigye. After hearing that they have opened cases on him, he's now going for a hunger strike to receive pity. He said he wants pity from people and easy bail. What do you think about that, the unprincipled blackmail?
Is the president himself principled when he avoids the institutions of the state that are supposed to deal with crime? If we need a stable country that is, but then we should not avoid the institutions of the state which are known to do, which are set up to do certain things in a proper way. So Museveni, by dodging those institutions, avoid the DPP and goes to the court martial. He took Besigye to court martial because he wanted to avoid the DPP. Because you see, the Constitution says the DPP shall not be concerned with the matters of the court martial. So that's how Museveni avoids. So Museveni is the accuser and the prosecutor at the same time. So is he principled himself?
That's a very good question. Okay, Council. Lastly, what's your comment on Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the CDF of this country?
Well, you see, if I was him, I would take off time and go and study, read at least anthropology, political science, and some bit of law, so that he can understand the world better. I think you see, we need him to be educated, to know things much better.
But he's an educated soldier. He's decorated even from one of the greatest schools of military, Sandhurst.
Exactly, that is true. But you see, let me tell you, you need to know people's cultures, people's histories, and so forth. Like his father, Museveni is very, very, very conscious about people's cultures and so forth. That's why whenever he talks about food, he says, for us, we don't do this, and so forth. This is understandable. You understand people's cultures. You see, for me, what I would advise him, if I was close to him, I would take off time to study. Because we have professors here in Kampala, in Uganda here, who can give him lectures, the ones which he needs to know.
Okay. So let him go and study.
So that he speaks from the point of knowledge.
Okay, there's also a phenomenon in this country where professionals are not respected enough. The land folk such as the Rwakafuuzis, you people, and Mr. Museveni has even laughed before when he talks about professionals. In fact, we've had even professionals alienating themselves from the politics of Uganda, which even Dr. Besigye has termed to say that one of the problems Uganda has are the elites. So what's your comment on that?
Well, you see, the politics we have today is very funny.
Yes, sir.
It involves a lot of hatred and name calling and so on and so forth. It's not based on issues. So people who want not to lose their heads, they prefer not to participate. Because the politics is so rough, so much bribery and so on and so forth. Now, for example, we have this ONC chairperson. She goes around giving out goodies. She's doing this immediately before elections because if she did it towards elections, it will amount to a bribe. Because then a bribe is an offense, and the president will be disqualified. But now he's giving out these goodies before time, so that you see this is bribing the public. And it is not principled politics also. Museveni should not tell others to be principled when he himself will be giving out goodies like that from the state park.
Isn't it like doing PDM tours? He's saying he's just checking around the country doing PDM tours.
Okay, I've seen him talk about PDM.
But some people think he's actually doing elections or...
He's campaigning, actually, he's campaigning.
Wow.
You see, this the whole country, actually, this country has a problem. I don't know when people work, because campaigns last 5 years. Immediately after the person is sworn in, others are campaigning. So I don't know when people work really. And Museveni is the cause, because he's always talking politics. Always. Even the PDM thing is so politicized.
How so? How so? How is it politicized?
I understand some people are not given money because of their political affiliation. I'm not sure about it, but...
they've heard of such rumors.
Yes. So the thing is very politicized.
Okay, I'm still with Counsel Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. He's a human rights lawyer, and of course, we're still talking about how the country is looking like right now. You are watching Face the Nation, and my name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. So let's talk about the leadership of the lawyers now. You have a radical bar by a radical lawyer, Counsel Semakade. This gentleman, first of all, the diction he uses is, many people have found it to be very offensive.
You see, he was elected by lawyers, and the lawyers, he did not, when he was campaigning, he did not hide anything, so people knew the person they were voting.
Yes.
It's not that like he campaigned on like in a different way, so they knew the person they were electing. So, you see, Semakade, you see, we have a problem in this country. We have a problem in this country.
Yes, sir.
Because you see, there are certain things which have to be done because of the current circumstances. So Semakade is a man of the times. The times are calling for that. It's very unfortunate.
They are calling for disrespect.
It's not a disrespect.
And abusing people.
That one is not a disrespect. Okay, personally, I would not use the such diction about the DPP, but then, I think sometimes in order to be heard, there are certain things certain things we have to do. In order to be heard, in order to push a point home, there are certain words you need to say. You need to use diction.
Okay. So Semakade's diction is okay to some extent?
Yes.
Wow. They found him in contempt of court recently by Justice Sekana. And he's supposed to be incarcerated for 2 years, according to the verdict that was made, because he was found in contempt of court. And right now he's in Rwanda.
The problem with the particulars of the contempt, I don't know them. I don't know the particulars of the contempt. If I knew, it would be easier for me to comment on that.
Okay.
Because in most cases, contempt has to be done to be before court itself.
And there is nowhere you can appeal really after that particular decision has been made.
I think you can. You can.
Okay, sir. As we come to the end of this discussion, I also want to find out from you. You have a brother, your biological brother of the Deputy Attorney General.
He's my young brother.
Yes, that is Jackson Kafuzi. You are on either side. He is working for the people that you do not agree with, and you are this side trying to advocate or to fight the injustices by his system. How does this feel for you as an individual?
I think there's no problem. There's no problem with that because you see, we are different people. He has his own head and I have my own head. You see, we are not Siamese twins. So thinking differently is possible and it happens. But that doesn't cause enmity between us. He always visits me here. I'm sick, as you can see, I'm indisposed, I don't work. He comes here and brings me some money. Sometimes he sends it on mobile phone. Then, so he takes care of me. He knows my views very well. He has seen me, of course, he has seen me grow up and he knows my views and he knows where they come from.
So you have a principle. You are principled on your disagreements. To say that I don't agree with you, but we are still family.
Yes, we are still family.
Okay.
I don't agree with him, Seven. You see, I was here when the peace, they said they ushered in. I saw the peace itself, which was ushered in. I saw it. It was a kind of grayish in color. It was hard to grab like this. But we started moving. We could move in town. We could walk to town. I've always stayed in these ends of Makerere. Walk to town and come back peacefully, which was not easy in those years. So the peace ushered in by them was very, very, very tangible, and it was very, very important to us. But the problem is that it was not based on justice. Peace should be based on justice and fairness. You see, it's like this.
Yes.
If I have something and you grab it from me, then I keep quiet. You say there's peace. Okay, then that's wrong. Because there's land grabbing today. So people should keep quiet because they want peace. No.
Are there some other things that you can say? These things that Mr. Museveni has done right? Some things you can comment
It's like this.
for.
About the peace thing, it is going away because, you see, people are being kidnapped in a broad daylight today and put in drones. You see, the phenomenon of drones has to be investigated. I think we need a commission of inquiry into the phenomenon of drones. Who is behind the drones? Because it is something that is tarnishing the image of the government. Why are people being kidnapped in broad daylight, even at night? Okay, there was a time when they were kidnapping Muslims, and I'd always been there representing Muslims. I had so many cases. Actually, the Muslim community, when they heard that I fell sick, they came here. They put their mats here and prayed for me. They were so happy. They wished me well and so on and so forth. They brought me fruits and everything. They did not bring me wine. It's okay.
Okay, sir.
But the thing is this.
Yes, sir.
You see, justice and fairness is very, very important. You see, there are people getting money in this country, which uncountable, money which can only be weighed in kilograms. And they are unfairly getting that money. So,
Yes, sir.
we need fairness. There are people who are selling their land in order to pay school fees. Now we are in the crisis of school fees as we speak now. Parents are really. You see, this thing of DNA has risen up because parents are looking at children also as a burden, which was not there some time back.
In the past.
Because now educating children is very burdensome. So I think government needs to look into that.
Okay.
The biggest problem we have today is the government is spending very little money on education. The money which they give to maintain these institutions is very, very limited.
Okay.
So everything has been privatized. You see, social services like education and health have been privatized, and it's too much. It's too long. People are really anxious about their lives.
Exactly.
People get malaria and they have to spend a lot of money. So
Yes, sir.
my view is this government is not spending the money in the right way.
Okay. The priorities are not...
The priorities.
Okay, sir. Maybe if you are to rate for us, if you are to rate the judiciary, let's say out of 10, how much would you give it?
The judiciary, I'm giving them 60%, actually 61.
Okay.
I think they are trying their best in very hard circumstances. One thing I was happy about is when the government said that they will pay judges even when they have retired. I think that's very important because you see,
Yes.
then there's no reason now for judges to be bribed so that they can prepare for their future. Because when you got 70 there, you keep going to hospitals and you need money. So,
Okay. How about the parliament? How would you rate it?
Parliament, I'm giving them 55%. I think they're also trying their best.
Ugandans feel like they are making laws that are not part of them.
Well, you see, for example, there was that proposal by Sechikubo. That was a very, very important proposal.
Yes, sir.
But then Sechikubo was misunderstood. I think some people thought that they were aiming at the speaker, or even this gentleman of Masaka, Samba. They thought that they were aiming at those people. I don't think Sechikubo was aiming at those. But the real aim was to discuss the issues of these other people,
Okay.
as he put it.
How about the military?
The military, you see, the problem is this. The military was doing well till recently they imprisoned my friend Edgar Kiiza. They imprisoned him just to show power. It was very unreasonable. I've been in that court. I've been the first chairperson of that court to try civilians was General Tumwine.
Yes.
Tumwine was, his biggest problem was coming late. Sometimes he would come at 3. You can imagine. We have been waiting from very early in the morning. He comes at 3. He has been painting his pictures in his gallery. Then he comes at 3. But Tumwine, what he did, once he read some of these things and he realized that they were not about government security, he dismissed the files and sent them to Uganda Road Court.
Okay. Wow. So the military is just getting spoiled now.
It's getting spoiled now.
Okay.
So I'm giving, because of Mugabe, Freeman Mugabe, I'm giving the military 44%.
Okay. Lastly, how about the executive led by Mr. President?
Well, for me, I would blame him for failing to appoint the Governor of Bank of Uganda in time. But then I commend him for appointing very able people. These two gentlemen, very able guys. They are going to do a very good job. I know them. They are very, very able people.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Maybe lastly, what do you think can be done to make Uganda a better place for the next generation that is to come, for your children and, you know?
Okay, you see, my biggest problem is this. I wish, you see, I think we need a different leader. Museveni has done his part. He needs to find a way of peacefully handing over power to someone else. He needs to do it peacefully, so that we don't go back to the past. Because you see, if people are going to take up arms again to fight for power, it's going to be very unfortunate. That means Professor Kid Makuya's statement that we are going to make a constitution that is going to be durable, and it is going to be made by the people. The power will be for the people. They will elect their leaders and so forth. Well, unfortunately, the professor is dead now, but whoever he is, his bones must be turning in the grave.
Wow, sorry. Thank you so much, Council Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. That is Face the Nation for today. We've had Council Ladislausi Rwakafuuzi. We've talked about everything concerning this particular country, and those are some of the insights that the Land Council can give us on how Uganda can be made a better place. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We shall see you again soon at exactly 5 every Friday. We are always here with you, having you face the nation. From the entire team, God bless you. See you next week, same time, same station. Good evening, Uganda.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.